Còn bây giờ chúng ta sẽ đến ngay với chuyên đề đầu tiên của chương trình, chuyên đề 1 Đại cơn sóng công nghệ toàn cầu, cơ hội và thách thức. Và diễn giả sẽ trình bày nội dung này với chúng ta là một Việt kiều gốc Huế, nhưng đã rời khỏi vị trí tại công việc Ngân hàng Thế giới tại Paris và đến Singapore vào năm 1988. Và trong 30 năm qua, ông đã tư vấn cho chính phủ Singapore, các công ty châu Á về việc ứng dụng các công nghệ tiên tiến để tối ưu hóa hoạt động và được lợi thế cạnh tranh. Ông cũng đã tham gia nhiều dự án quy hoạch đô thị và tạo thành quy hoạch tổng thể cho các thành phố thông minh hiện nay. Và diễn giả của chúng ta là người có nhiều kinh nghiệm về AI, đã tham gia nhiều dự án khoa học dữ liệu cho Viện Nghiên cứu Pháp Singapore và giúp các công ty lớn nhỏ đón đầu xu hướng Big Data. Và Minh Châu đang giới thiệu ông Albert Antoine, chuyên gia tư vấn cao cấp về AI và công nghệ, Phó Chủ tịch cấp cao khu vực châu Á Thái Bình Dương, công ty Dataiku. Một tràng pháo tay để chào đón ông Albert Antoine lên sân khấu, thưa quý vị.
Xin kính chào quý vị. Tôi nói quý vị tại vì cái cách xưng hô của tôi không sành lắm. Thì hôm nay tôi xin phép nói bằng tiếng Anh, tại vì tôi chưa đủ tự tin để nói bằng tiếng Việt. Mặc dù tiếng Việt của tôi nghĩ là giỏi hơn tiếng Anh nhiều. Nhưng mà nói những danh từ chuyên môn thì tôi chưa có đủ thời gian để mà học hỏi, thì tôi xin quý vị thông cảm. So I'm going to speak in English today. Okay? It's a great honor for me to speak to such many CEOs in the same room today. And by right, I should be, very nervous talking to all of you. But at one time, I watched Obama. He said that before he went out to do a speech, he himself very nervous. So from that day, I'm not nervous anymore when I talk to many people. So it's a way to go from something negative to bring it to something very positive. Today, what are the slides? Okay. My great challenge today after lunch is to keep you awake. So I try to be very brief. I try to be entertaining when I can. And my key message today is to get you involved in this wave, So I think that somebody has talked about serve and think. To be able to serve, you need to be very agile. Agile is the ability to adapt to changes, I think one of the speakers in the past, I don't remember his name, he said that the only constant in life is change. So you have to adapt to changes. So this is my agenda today. This is very tentative. I have to deliver within 20 minutes. It's a great challenge, challenge number 2. What I'm going to do is to give you a tour about what's happening in terms of, the 4.0 technology in the world. And then zoom in to a very specific applications that is happening right now throughout the world. And those applications, I didn't pick it from internet whatsoever. Those applications are the applications that myself and my team has been involved, and it has been delivered. Some of them has been delivered and delivered into the production systems. And the most important thing is, for CEOs like you, is not using the technology ABC that is important, AI, blockchain, so what? The bottom line is the return on investment. When you spend $1 million and you get nothing, it's expenses. But if you spend $10 million and it brings you maybe $100 million a year, that's what you talked about, return on investment. And that is the key message that I'm going to deliver today through examples. So before zooming into the ground zero, I would like to talk about the 32,000 feet where the world is the world is going in terms of AI, blockchains, and all this. So, yes. In 2007, as you see here, the top 10 company in the world, there's only one company that related to technology, which was Microsoft. You know, today, 2017, you know, there's one survival, ExxonMobil, and it's not going to survive for long. It's going, you know, all the rest of the company are the people who leverage on innovation to ride this wave, to ride the digital wave, and then to take advantage of it and to make value, create great value out of that. Okay, things happening and successes happen without any, I mean, it couldn't happen without any investment. So this is the kind of roadmap that the people are doing right now. Just a few examples, you know, like China. China has ambition of being the top of the world in terms of AI in 2030. And they have invested $148 billion, not million, $billion in that. It's something that I couldn't believe that, but, you know, some sources are saying that way. I work in Singapore, and Singapore is pretty involved in this. You know, they are ready, let's say, to spend a few $1 million to do just a prototype with the Media Lab to do a prototype on DLT, digital ledger technology, you know, and so on and so forth. Last week, this is the article that's last week, MIT has invested $1 billion in a program dedicated to AI. You know, in the future, we don't talk about agriculture anymore. We're talking about precision agriculture. It means that you use all the technology, AI, drone and all this, and deliver to the pesticide to the particular plant, the right amount of water, such that you optimize the result. Traffic, you know, in here, what you see is usually the traffic lights regulate the circulation, the traffic. Here is opposite side, is the traffic that regulate the traffic lights, okay? And in the future, there's no traffic light anymore. The car, when they arrive at the intersections, they will negotiate themselves through the 5G network and then solve the conflict and who's ever to pass after the other. Amazon, you know, in last year, if somebody buy things on Amazon, they should have heard about the Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday is something like a 6 billion of sales in the U.S. Among the 6 billion, 3 billion is done by Amazon. And the reason why they are able to do that, to do this kind of volume of business, is because they use technology. They use robots, they use you know, online predictive analytics that will come back later on. You know, so that is what's happening at 32,000 feet. You know, now that what I'm going to share with you is what is happening at the ground zero up. At the ground zero, we are doing a lot of applications, and I would like to share with you. Yes? All right. You know, there's a lot of confusion right now. The people talk about big data, IoT, and all this. Is you know, the term is the terms are used from here to there, but sometimes from one place to another they don't mean anything. You know, so that's the matter of vocabulary here. You talk about blockchain. Blockchain is a pretty starting point right now, but it has a very bad reputation. Talk about bitcoins and that, but actually, the technology underneath technology, the blockchain technology, is something that CEO like you should feel concerned and find out about that, because the matter of smart contract and this is very important. IoT, Internet of Things. Internet of Things, is not something new. I work a lot in the defense technology, and 20 years ago we already worked on something that is related to IoT. We install sensors in the aircraft and in the tanks, in the ship, so that we can get the health status of those vehicles. And then at any point in time, you get the health status, and then you can tell that you can do predictive maintenance, can say that there's a crack on this aircraft wings, and you need to take care of that. And big data, IoT generate big data. And when you have a lot of data, what do? I would like to talk a bit about the vocabulary here. When you have a lot of big data in your organizations, you try to make sense of it. You try to explain what the data means to you, what the data means to your business. That's what we talk about descriptive analytics. You describe what's happening in the data. So this is, if you are familiar with all the tools happening, Tableau, ClickViews, Power BI, or whatever, help you to understand that. The other step that I'm going to talk today is, when you talk about predictive analytics, is the equivalent of machine learning and equivalent of AI today. So that is, people can disagree with me, but it's the same space. And today, all the applications that I'm going to talk hereafter are concerning the predictive analytics. Because of interest of time, I will talk about prescriptive analytics and cognitive analytics in some other sessions. So, what's happening? As the amount of data growing exponentially, you try to get the value out of that. And when you do descriptive analytics, you get a linear value of that. So what you do is you try to react to the business. You try to be reactive. But being reactive doesn't give you the competitive advantage. The most competitive advantage has been proven that if you do proactive actions in your business, proactive decision. To be able to do that, you had to predict the outcome. You have to predict the future, what's going to happen. Descriptive analytics answer the question, what has happened, and predictive analytics answer the question, what will happen in the future. And that is what I'm calling machine learning and all this, to help you to have the exponential value out of your data. Okay. You don't do all this without challenges. The great challenges that I see when we are involved in those projects is the common challenges that we see throughout the companies. The people, the technology, and the process together, And those challenges could be overcome very easily if the leaders like you have the right mindset. I will come back to that later on. This is a bit of example. Maybe the Vice Minister mentioned about Netflix. No, you never mentioned about Netflix. They have 137 million subscribers in that. How to make use of those data to sell better, to sell faster. Another things that have produced a lot of data is the application Waze. And this is a few examples in different areas that data analytics is pretty present. Banking, government, retail, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is one example. Maybe it's not concerned, but what I mean here is the best use of resources. You know, the police cars are limited resources. So if you predict where the crime happened, and then you dedicate that into that. That's our team has won the challenge that put out by the city of Portland in Oregon. Another application is healthcare. In the insurance, when you file for a claim, you know, it detects if the people has fraud or not, you know. Going this application is more related to risk management. You know, if a company come and ask for loans, you can use it to predict what are the risks that is involved, so that you can take actions to do further due diligence, for instance. This application is about, you know, from design to production for 5 months. You know, when you talk about IT project, you talk about years, okay? Here, when you talk about AI, machine learning, predictive analytics application, you don't even talk about months. Now, you talk about weeks, you know. So it's something very feasible. So I encourage you to talk around the people who can deliver that. So ask them what are the challenges. Share with them your problems so that they can advise you where are the way to go. This is some area that in retail and e-commerce is pretty details here. But you know, if you summarize it, there's a few use cases in this area, like churn management. You have customer lifetime value. It means that how much the customer is going to spend for your company for the next 3 or 6 months. Fraud detection. If the people has fraud in coming to your website or not, and also the customer segmentation. Customer segmentation is beautiful because you know, once you know the segment, you can profile the customer, and you are able to sell them whatever they need and don't sell them everything. Okay, this is the churn prediction that I have mentioned. Here is pretty interesting. We work with a company called Vente Privée in France, and this is the e-commerce website. Yeah, after implementation of the system, they increased the revenue by 3%. 3% of 3 billion revenue is something like $90 million. It's tremendous. It's worth thinking about that. Another example is L'Oreal. All the ladies that using the cosmetic knows L'Oreal. L'Oreal is using social media. You have a better product. You have a kind of a real-time survey. What the people don't like, what the people like. This is the smell of this cream. Is the shampoo that the texture is not attractive, so they can correct in real time. Unilever. I would like to spend a bit of time on Unilever here. Unilever is, we onboard about 150 business analysts from Unilever. Business analysts are the people who are very well-versed in business. They know how to analyze, how to do segmentations, and so on and so forth. They started the project. We onboard them, 150, and guess how many data scientists they have? Any guess at all? 100? Show of hand? 200? They have 0 data scientists. So they have 0 data scientists. They leverage that what we call data democratization. You know, so the people, if you know how to do analysis using your spreadsheet, your Excel spreadsheet, and then you can start doing that, okay? So, of course, the data scientist is very a rare species nowadays. but little by little, we help them to employ the first data scientist, second, and now they have a team of maybe 50 data scientists. Okay, Chronopost is more for logistic, and Amazon, for instance, anyone who bought a product on Amazon, sometimes, yes, sometimes they write in there, people who bought the product like you also bought this. So it's a kind of recommendation system. Another thing is they say, okay, are you interested to buy this product? We can deliver you to the next day. The reason why they are able to tell you that they can deliver you to the next day, you look at the US territory, it's very vast. What they do is when you spend time on that, looking at your profile, they said it's 90% that this guy are interested in a product that we can deliver the next day. So what they do, before they click on buy, they anticipate. They do the predictive analytics, and what they do is they move the product from the warehouse closer to where the person lives. The next day, the people click buy, a few hours, they deliver to their place. That is the beauty about machine learning, AI, and predictive analytics. So there's another case. It's the voyage privé. Voyage privé is when you click on the picture. Using deep learning and so on, we know what the people are clicking on. And we found out one thing. We find out that, for the Europeans and Western customers, what they like to click is on the swimming pool when they go for holidays. However, the Asian community, what they're interested in is if they go from somewhere, they click on the hotel rooms. Is the hotel rooms is beautiful or whatever, so we kind of found out that pattern. And when you display something to them, you customize it so that they are more attracted to what they are doing. Okay, so going through those cases, I would like to summarize a little bit about what are the bottom lines here, okay? In the interest of time, I think that I will go very quickly, but I would like to spend very much on the first challenge here, okay? The first challenge here is we don't have data to start with. If you don't have data, when you talk about data science, you have science and you have data. If you don't have data, how you start? And you can see that I put a picture up there. Someone can guess what picture is about? It's pictures about a cicada and the ant. Con ver và con kiến from Fable de La Fontaine, okay? So the story here is the cicada kind of during summer keep on singing, and where the ant just goes store foods and so on, and when winter comes, the cicada has no food, so they have to knock at the door, the ant's door, and say, okay, can you provide me some food? So that is the analogy that I would like you to talk about, the different strategy to get your data, okay? The first strategy is cicada strategy. Strategy is you don't have the data, you go and ask for it. Ask for it means also buy it, okay? Second strategy, we call it spider strategy. The spider, they have the web, they put the web, and then they collect data. It's as if you give a free Wi-Fi, and you collect the data, and you work with that. And the third strategy is I want to talk about the strategy, the fox strategy. The fox is very cunning. The fox strategy, what he does is he doesn't have data. So he goes to knock at someone who has a lot of data. I say, oh, I have the know-how to transform your data into analysis that can give you the business competitive advantage and so on. And once they have that kind of recipe, they bring that recipe and apply to other company, okay? So, you look at Google, Facebook, they are spider and fox at the same time, because they put a web out to collect data, and they make use of the data, and they use from customers to customers. Okay, so I think that I'm a bit overshot in terms of time, but I put an email after the slides, so you can email me. I would like to share with you, or after this speech, I'm free to discuss with you if you identify yourself in those challenges. And I have the solution. The solution here is not a magic solution. Solution here is the kind of outcome that you could consider to bring your company from ground zero to some level that you can take advantage of the data. The only way to stay ahead is strongly align your organization with data. How to align that? As a leader, as a CEO, what you have to do is you need to orchestrate your team. Orchestrate your team means you have a people different profile in your company. Business analysts, data scientists, IT people, you know, and how to orchestrate them to deliver value. But the most important things, if you want to orchestrate them, you need to change your mindset. Mindset is something very important. The MC mentioned about if you have the wrong mindset, you do the wrong thing. If you have the right mindset, and then you can deliver results. Okay, so the mindset is very important. And last but not least, you have to embrace innovation. Embrace innovation and taking into account what's happening in the world right now. You know, when the people talk about Industry 4.0, it's not only Vietnam, but all over the place. They are very excited to talk about deep learning. They talk about, you know, transfer learning, talk about a lot of very advanced stuff. You know, if you do business day to day, you can put that aside for the moment because those are available in open source. You know, you can make use of that. You know, no need to invest in that. You have that in open source, okay? The most important thing is to find a way to get there, you know, and my key and final message is you have to start now. You know, if you don't have data, you know, if you have a few spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, it's still good data because, you know, it's not in Vietnam. I talk to a lot of Vietnamese companies say, oh, we don't have data. We have a few spreadsheet. It doesn't give us anything. You don't have data, and then you use cicada strategy. You go and buy it, you know. So my key point is please start now and do not hesitate because no bad decision is also better than no decision, okay? Thank you very much.